Hello, and welcome to Mind Your Head, a space for people to share their stories, talk openly and honestly about their own mental health challenges, and to give some listeners some comfort in knowing you're not alone. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we record this podcast, the Gubbi Gubbi people. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Indigenous peoples. We honour their enduring connection to the land, waters and culture, and recognise their invaluable contributions they make to our communities. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
This episode is proudly supported by True Protein. Use the code MINDYOURHEAD at the checkout to score $25 off your next order. This episode is brought to you by TLC Recovery Centre on the Sunshine Coast. Head to TLC Sunshine Coast, use the code TLC15MYH to receive 15% off and experience it for yourself.
Alli, welcome to Mind Your Head. It's an absolute privilege to have you on the podcast today. Even just speaking to you with you now and a little bit off camera, it seems like you've lived so many different lives in such a short amount of time, whether it's, you're acting, you're singing, you're radio host, you've done some reality TV as well. And I love to get your thoughts and your feelings through that journey as well, and how you've navigated that while also being in the public spotlight and having siblings in the public spotlight too. But firstly, I'd just like to check in and see how the body, the mind, the spirit, how's it all going?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm so excited we could make this happen, and I've watched a few of your episodes now, and I just find you super inspiring, and you've made an effect on so many people. So I was like, that would be an awesome podcast to come on, because I haven't come on many in my life. But yeah, checking in. I'm feeling really good today, and in the last few weeks, I do feel like I'm feeling good. My health, my mind, my body at the moment. I'm just really prioritizing myself and practicing healthy habits at the moment, and I think it's starting to pay off. So yeah, it's just been on a bit of a journey, but I'm good. I'm good today.
How has that journey been, sort of prioritizing yourself? Because I had an interesting conversation not too long ago that I would always feel guilty and a little bit selfish for putting myself first. I'd always put everyone else first, or I would always make sure everyone else's cup's full before I tend to my own. Yeah. And I can always pinpoint at that time that was sort of where my mental health took a real dive, was not putting myself first and not valuing what lights me up and what gets me out of bed every day. Yeah. How's that journey been for you?
You have, what you have just relayed about yourself is pretty much exactly me. And I have done that for so long, and my whole family knows that I put everybody else before myself, and I care a lot. I've got a big heart, so I want everybody else to be happy, even if I was struggling with stuff on the inside. So it's been a bit of a journey, and now that I do think that I am prioritizing myself, I'm like, do I have to be selfish for once in my life? And I hated the thought of that, because I'm not a selfish person. I'm the opposite. Let's not talk about me. So for me, I found that really difficult, and I still find it difficult. But it's just making those little changes, I guess, on a daily basis of, okay, well, I don't need to go and do X, Y, Z for everybody else today. If I have a plan for myself that day, I don't just have to say yes to that lunch, or yes to that dinner, or yes to the FaceTime, when I have this plan for that day for me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just starting to really put myself first, and it's only been a very short amount of time, and it's already changing, my life and my mindset.
Yeah, because you do get confidence. That's what I realised. Once you start sort of implementing those things, you start feeling better, and then you can always, when you're in a down spot, you can always be like, oh, that's the reason why. Maybe I'm putting more people in front of my values and that sort of thing. That's what I've realised. Whenever I sort of start heading down a little bit, I go, what haven't I done lately? What's the checklist that I haven't done that I need to be doing? And removing. I'm very lucky that I've got a support network where they don't make me feel guilty, or they don't. If anything, they encourage me to go do those things that lights me up.
See, that's good.
Even if those things don't involve them. Yeah. Which is really a noble thing, to encourage someone to go do something that doesn't involve them. Yeah. Knowing that that's going to get the best version out of them. So I'm sure you would have such a supporting network as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so grateful for my family and my friends, but the funny thing is that because for the last few years I do drop everything for, you know, that family barbecue, or drop everything for that friend's birthday, or even if it was going to hinder like what I wanted to do that week or with my life. And I always get stressed these days. I'm like, damn, when I start cancelling on things, everyone's shocked. Like my family's like, Alli's not coming, or my friend's like, Alli can't come to this. They're like, why? What's wrong? What's going on with her? I'm like, it's actually the opposite of what's wrong. Like, I'm now here doing things for me, and I think that's a good thing, you know? So it's I'm kind of in that limbo at the moment of
almost
figuring that
changing
out.
perceptions of you as well.
Yeah.
You know, people have got this idea of what Alli's like, and then when she's not like that, like, oh, is she okay?
Yeah, what's wrong?
If anything, she's amazing.
Yeah, I'm like, in fact, I'm doing much better, so thanks.
I'd love to see where it all began for you. I know you're local here on the Gold Coast. What are some of your earliest memories from growing up?
Yeah, so I guess it all started here on the Gold Coast. I was only 12, 13 years old, but I was a competitive swimmer when I was on the Gold Coast.
Oh, right.
Alongside my brother Cody. We both wanted to be swimmers and go swim at the Olympics. Looking back on that now, I think I think I just enjoyed going to swimming training because I liked the social side of it. And like the guys I had crushes on were in my squad, and I was making friends. And
they're in Speedos, I get it.
Yeah, seriously. And I was just like, yeah, like this is fun to do after school. And, you know, looking back on it, I don't think I was ever going to be a competitive swimmer. I didn't have that like
drive.
Drive, that dog in me, like that you sort of need.
Yeah, you need.
It's a really selfish sport.
It's so ruthless in terms of, like, I always think about, like, especially all the Olympic sports where it comes down to, like, you know, milliseconds.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
100%.
And that's, you know, first to second.
And it's so mental as well,
so mental,
as much as it is physical.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, my earliest memories, like I went to All Saints here on the Gold Coast, and then I was at Miami Swimming Club, like every day pretty much. And then my brother started putting like music covers and things on YouTube, and he was sort of pursuing his music career on the side, and he was so young. Like I look back on him now and I'm like, you were such a baby. Like how are you 13 just like singing in your room and putting videos on YouTube trying to get signed by a record label? Like,
I remember that.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, I remember when you and the family sort of moved over to America, and I was thinking, man, I couldn't imagine like doing that at that age. Not just for Cody, but the whole family. Like,
yeah, it was a really crazy time, and I guess I was so young too because I'm only a year younger than Cody. But yeah, reflecting on it, it felt like a whirlwind, and for me it was so fun because for me I was just like, great, LA, I want to go to Disneyland, and my little brother was 6, so for him he doesn't actually remember a lot of that time, but for me, you know, I was leaving my school and my best friends, and I was quite sad about it, you know, to leave, but I was ready to go on the adventure, and Mum and Dad gave up everything to bite this bullet for Cody, which I admire so much in them. And it was an incredible adventure as a family.
You loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you? Yeah.
I wouldn't change a thing.
You wouldn't? Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you describe your younger self to someone who had never met you before?
I think my younger self is still me today.
Is it?
Like I have been through a lot in my life that has changed. Obviously, that happens when you get older. But the other day I was looking back at some of my old YouTube videos from when I was like 12, 13, 14 at the time.
Yes.
And I was like,
I'll have to go find them.
oh, don't. I was like equally as cringing as I was. Like now I look back on it, I'm like, damn, you haven't like really changed that much. Like I've always been the extrovert of the family and way over the top and the super loud one, and
the performer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And I didn't really care about what people thought. Like I was just putting the silliest things online. I mean, I wish I cared less about what people thought now, which is funny because I that was my first thought watching those videos of me as a kid. I'm like, damn, you didn't care. And like if people at school had shit to say about it, like I actually didn't care.
Is that the benefit of being young? Is that you have no fear, or you have no maybe idea of how this is going to look to other people because you're just so young in your own world. You're just like, you're not caring about those sorts of things.
You don't think about it.
It's only when you're an adult or you get in adulthood that you realize like you care about other people's opinions and what they may think and what they may say about you.
Yeah, that's so correct. And I find it so interesting because it should be the opposite.
It should be the opposite.
You know, like with age, we should become more like confident in ourselves and carefree. But I don't know, being an adult is hard sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. I always wondered this, like, did you feel like your childhood, you either grew up too fast or maybe the other side, you lost a bit of your childhood because of the way your childhood went?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I haven't really been asked that question before. I used to grapple with that. I think when we first moved, for the first few years, I was quite sad because I left my school and I'd see all my friends going to formal, and me being the social person that I was, I genuinely really felt like I was missing out. And I did feel jealousy, seeing some of my best friends going with these guys that I used to have crushes on while I was homeschooled in LA till I graduated. So I left school in grade 7. So at the time, I felt like I was really missing out because it was for Cody and I didn't know what I wanted to do yet, which I didn't have to. I was 12. But I wouldn't change it for the world now, because if we didn't move to the States and I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't be as worldly as I am now. I did have to grow up super fast, plus in the public eye as well. And I probably wouldn't have figured out what I wanted to do as fast as I did. I was exposed to the world of entertainment and TV and acting and modeling and radio and all these things that I'd never tried. And I don't think I probably would have tried if I stayed in Australia. Like, would I had a crack at swimming? I don't know. But
find that dog in you.
Maybe I would have found it by the time I was 17.
Yeah, it's always interesting to look and see and play that game of where my life would have ended up.
Yeah.
If we didn't do this, if that didn't do that, because you can connect the dots now that we went overseas as a family, and then that happened and that happened, and then sort of looking back on it, it's easy to connect the dots, but at the time you're thinking, what am I doing with my life? Like, oh yeah, I'll do this. Oh yeah, that sounds good. I'll do that.
Absolutely.
And then you always play that game like, oh, I wonder if we didn't go overseas, where would I have been?
Yeah.
What would life look like?
I have no idea, and I'm 27 now, and I still think, I didn't go to uni and I haven't been to college when I was over in the States. But I even think, like, if I was back in Australia, I probably would have pursued swimming. I probably would have gone to uni for something. And I've thought about it so much. I'm like, what would I study? What would I do? I don't know, because I've lived a completely different life and childhood to so many people that I can't even fathom my life being different. And I don't even know I genuinely don't even know what I would do.
Still.
Yeah. I mean, I do now, like, if I was to go to uni or something now, that's obviously different because I have all these different hobbies in TV and hosting. So I'm like, would it be journalism? Would it be, anything along those lines, because I'm older now. But I don't know what life would have looked like. I worry that maybe I just would have been going through high school and partying, and what if I went down a worse path? Like, I've been through my fair share of struggles in my world. But it's really interesting to think about where I would have gone with my life if we didn't move to the States.
For sure. And it's also like almost a blessing in disguise where you look at it and go, even if you decided to study, you've got all that sort of your point of view and all that experience you've had in the world, that if you decided to study, it'd be more sort of honed into what you actually like.
It would.
Because I see a lot of like kids when they finish school, and there's so much.
No one really knows what they want to do.
There's so much pressure on them.
Yeah.
To go, all right, I've got to study this for 4 years, or if it's, if you're into medicine, whatever it is, it could be 8 years, and all that pressure that you've got to lock it in, and that's you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I feel like kids get overwhelmed with it, and then
feel the pressure to go to uni and do that when maybe they don't really know that's what they want to do.
Yeah, I've met a ton of kids that sort of go to uni, and then they think that quitting uni is quitting, like, because no one wants to quit. They want to just keep going with it. So a lot of them keep going with degrees or studies that they actually don't like. But
and then they finish it, and then they're like, damn, I don't really want to do this.
This is going to be the rest of my life. So I always look at that back now, because I went to a sports school, so all I did was play sport, and then I finished school and played sport. So it all worked out in terms of that. And I always think about that too. If I went back to study, knowing what I know now and knowing what I'm really passionate about, psychology would be the thing that I would dive straight into, because I love understanding people and why we do the things that we do.
Yeah.
So I'm really
so interesting.
So interesting. Like, I read a lot of psychology books and a lot of podcasts and audio books and that sort of thing. So I think I would have a lot of confidence because I was so afraid to go
Yeah.
to study. I was just
Yeah.
like, what am I going to do? School was painful for me.
Mm.
But now, knowing what I know now, I think I could probably step into that. Be difficult, but at least I would be learning something that I actually want to learn.
Yeah, because you would find it really interesting.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, my mum has a double psych degree.
Oh,
So
does she?
yeah, and she kind of didn't really know that's what she wanted to do at the time, but when she did it, she loved it. So now she's just like so in tune, and she just knows everything, and she picks up on everything about me. That's we always call her like double psych degree Ange, because she just knows everything, and I don't know how. And I'm
Is
like,
that good to be around?
Yeah,
It is.
It is. It's
Yeah.
amazing, and I learned so much from my mum, and
Are you close with your mum?
super.
Yeah.
She's like, if she wasn't my mum, she'd still be like a best friend of mine. Like we are seriously best friends.
Really?
We hang out all the time.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
You spoke about before that, you don't know what your life would look like because it's been so different to other people.
Mm.
And I think it's interesting, growing up in that spotlight and having, a sibling also, career was exploding as well.
Mm.
Was there a moment when you realised life isn't normal anymore?
Yeah, but it's so funny, and I talk to Cody about it often because I'm always like, what do you remember about that time? And he, like, for him and for me, I guess because we were so young, you kind of don't think like this isn't normal life because that was our life, if you know what I mean. Like, because that was our life, that to me was normal.
You didn't know any different.
No,
Yeah.
no. But it was obviously, there was quite a few moments, if Cody was performing in big arenas and, all around the world and seeing, the hundreds of thousands of people screaming my brother's name. It's like, okay, well, this isn't normal life. There was moments like that, but it was just so interesting being so young going through that. And I think it would be so different if that was happening now because it's...
That was my next question.
Yeah.
How would you have handled it now versus when you were younger?
Yeah, because I think when I was younger, like I was just having a blast.
Yeah.
Like there was moments where Cody's like introduced me on stage and I would like come out and be on stage at like 13, 14 and introduce...
diva.
Yeah, like introduce Cody in front of like 8 record labels when he was trying to get signed. And I'm like, what's up, everybody? I'm like, I had no care in the world. So for me, it was just fun.
Yeah.
And like my little brother he would always run around in his like Heelys and slide across the stage when he wasn't supposed to. And like he loved the audience too. So I think for me and my younger brother, it was just so much fun back then. And I think if it was now, it would be just as fun, but you would have a new, probably found like respect for the whole situation and for my brother's hard work.
Yeah.
Like looking back on it now, how many shows he was playing a week, being so young and in the studio till 3, 4 a.m. every single night just to come up with a hit for a record label. And I mean, he was a baby, but now he's doing it again and he's getting back into his world of music. He seems like he's got so much more control over his situation and his future, and it's nice to see. So
Do you think that's a misconception of people in that world, especially, they see the shows or they see the highlight reels and they see all that,
yeah.
but they don't see the back-to-back shows or the traveling throughout the night or the 4 a.m.s,
Yeah.
in the studio. They don't see all that.
No.
Is that the misconception you see? Like, it looks easy, it looks like the
It
time
does,
of
it
your
looks
life.
glamorous.
And I'm sure it would be the time of your life, but
Yeah.
man, there'll be some tough, long days in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it felt like the time of our life, but I think, looking back on it now, like what Cody endured so young and put out for so many people, like these crazy hours that are probably illegal these days. Like, I don't even think children can work that long,
Workplace health and safety would have to say something about that.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But like Cody didn't see it like that because he was having a blast because making music was what he loved to do. So yeah, it's interesting, like how it sort of all unfolded. Yeah.
Was it hard to pave your own path when you've obviously got Cody as your older brother? Was it hard to do or find your own sort of niche in life?
It wasn't.
It wasn't?
No. And I actually found it quite easy because I think being exposed to that world of entertainment and, hosting on stage before I even knew anything, like I just knew that that's what I loved to do, and I loved to be on camera and I loved being on a microphone, and I think growing up with it just gave me so much experience and it felt it felt supernatural. So yeah, it's sort of, it just felt really natural to me, and I fell into the world pretty easily, you know, so I was sort of like making YouTube videos and vlogging, you know, our life on the tour and just having fun as a kid. And I was able to turn that into a career, you know, with the YouTube subscribers that led to my radio show, and it just sort of, it flowed quite easily for me. And I'm so grateful to Cody for that.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for him, it would have never have happened. So.
Well, let's talk about, I guess, the radio show. You mentioned off camera that you had your radio show for 8 years. Incredible.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that you were the youngest person to host a radio show.
I was.
Is that correct?
Yes, in the States.
In the States.
I was the youngest nationally syndicated radio host, so the youngest that was able to make money, I guess, from a radio show, because I started at 15.
Started at 15?
Yeah, and I was interviewing like Justin Bieber, One Direction, Selena Gomez, like Zendaya, like you name it, because I was working for Disney, so I was able to have all those connections. So like Disney would just assign the guests that week, and they'd be like, my first ever interview was One Direction when I was
the whole group.
The whole group when I was 16, and it only came about because Cody was getting interviewed at Radio Disney for his own career, and I met all the people from Radio Disney, and they're like, "What do you want to do with your life?" I was like, "I don't know," but like I was so talkative and over the top. They're like, "Would you be interested in interviewing someone?" I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be so much fun." And then like, "Okay, can you come in tomorrow and interview One Direction?" And me being like a 16-year-old girl, I was like the biggest fan of them ever. I was like, yeah, like, oh my God, like, do I need to write the questions? Like, what happens? Like, and I went home that night, I wrote all these questions, I came up with like a bunch of fun games.
You prepped it and everything?
Yeah, I think it's still on YouTube. It's somewhere on YouTube, but
We're finding that.
Yeah, you got to find it, because I think the whole time I was just so worried. I'm like, how do I flirt with one of them? Like, how do I date one of them? That was like my main goal of that day. I was unsuccessful.
Yeah.
But
Which one is it? Which one was it?
It was Harry at the time.
Yeah, I would do the same with
Harry or Niall.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, right. Yeah.
love Niall. He's great. And that went really well. And so they're like, do you want to come back in tomorrow and do Bieber? And that was sort of at the time when he was just sort of blowing up and it was crazy, and it got on a roll. And then I spoke to my manager. It's so weird. I had a manager at like 15 or 16. Like, what? I wouldn't have even known what that meant. And I just said, I want my own show. And we came up with the Alli Simpson show, and I had that for seven or 8 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What's your favourite guest story? Like,
oh man,
I know meeting Justin Bieber would have been.
It was at the time, yeah, because
You
I
would have
was
been-
young. You know, I had like the Jonas Brothers and all these people that I was fangirling over at the time, not having any sort of experience in Hollywood or anything yet. But yeah, there was a few people I really looked up to. Like, I think I was just excited to interview all the people like I was watching on Disney Channel in Australia, like Selena Gomez, like Zendaya, like all these people that had these shows that I just loved and looked up to. And I had Gwen Stefani once, and then I had Keith Urban, and I was so excited because these were all people that I loved listening to growing up, and they were such a huge part of my childhood. So,
were you nervous or starstruck or anything like that, or were you just that in the moment? And
it's so weird to think back now that I actually don't feel like I was nervous, and it goes back to being a kid and not having any thoughts or qualms about the situation. And like, because I think if I did it now, I'd be more nervous.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be shitting myself.
Yeah, even though I know most of them now, and we had years then in Hollywood all together, but yeah, back then I didn't think much about. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
What did you learn the most about that period in your life? Because you would have, 15. When did you finish? 20.
20.
You would finish at 20.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah.
So it's a big part of your sort of adolescence
Yeah.
and then growing into womanhood and stuff like that. What did you learn about yourself?
Oh man, so much. And I feel like I learn a lot more than what I realized, now being my age and looking back, and I'm like, damn, like it showed me so much crazy like work experience from such a young age. And I always felt like I was missing out because I never worked a regular job.
A real job.
Yeah, like a real job. But that sounds horrible to say,
Yeah,
but like I didn't get to go and work at McDonald's, or I didn't get to be a bartender, and they're all things that I'm like, yeah, I want to try it, like just for once, but
Your resume would look a lot different to anyone else's, wouldn't it?
yeah, so I think I'm so grateful for everything I learned about myself. I found my voice. I found my confidence. And it gave me so much experience talking to these incredible people and working for a big company like Disney at such a young age and just kind of navigating my way through all of that. It was hard a lot of the time, but equally as fun. And it's made me the person I am today.
What do you think was hard about it?
I think it was, I also talked to Cody about this as well, like making that sort of money, I guess, when you're so young is very confusing, and I probably would do things a lot differently now, you know, if that was my experience like at the moment. But yeah, having that sort of freedom to kind of not do whatever you want, but like not have to think about it from such young ages was kind of hard, and obviously, like I said, equally as fun. But being in such a big industry with so many big heads around you, and you know, the older I got, I did face quite a few times of, you know, a lot of rejection and a lot of judgment. You know, you're not tall enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not funny enough. You know, I'd have meetings at big agencies and, you know, I'd have to stand there and hold myself in a room. I'd put like my blazer on, I'm like 17, and like sell myself to a table of 20 people at big companies like WME or CAA or whatever they were at the time. And a lot of that I did find quite hard. And I just think that it's so crazy being so young and putting yourself out there like that. But I give myself props now because if I was doing that now, I'd be pretty scared. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about what I've realized about the entertainment industry. It's almost built on rejection. Like,
it is.
So many more people get rejected than they do get hired.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the thing. Like, you're putting yourself out there, and like what you said then is you know, you're not tall enough, and it's almost like picking things off. And it's almost not personal, but it is personal because it's you.
Yeah.
But you can't take it, I guess, as personal. But it's so hard when they say, yeah, look, we don't like how you look. You're kind of like, oh.
Yeah, especially when I'm that age.
Yeah,
and
17,
Yeah, I'm a teenage girl and I'm growing up in the public eye, and, you know, there are people serving me with mean comments, you know, and I'm growing up, I'm trying to figure out who I am. I'm going through just the same amount of like body insecurities, looks insecurities as everybody else, like my age, but mine's just amplified. And then to have like some big dog who's like 50 years old at these companies be like, you're too fat, or like you can't take this campaign because you don't look this way, or you're not tall enough, or you're not.
Have they said that before?
Yeah, I've had a fair bit of that, and I've had, you know, performance. When I was getting into music, I had performance coaches basically, you know, giving me the diet plans and sending me to gyms, and, you know, because you have to look like Britney Spears if you want to be a musician, or you have to be sexy, you have to be that pop star. And I think back then times have obviously changed now, which is so great because there's so many incredible artists and of all shapes and sizes, and if you're talented and you love it and you work hard, it works now. But back then it was so much harder.
Really?
Yeah, and it really got to me as a young girl. Yeah.
You had to fit the mold.
You had to. Yeah.
Man, that's wild now, because my question was, what do you think the climate's like now in the music industry? And it's beautiful to see that there's less discrimination of what someone looks like.
Yes.
And it should just go back to, man, like you said, if they're passionate about their craft, their art, you know, if they're devoted to it, they're dedicated to it, it shouldn't matter how. No,
it shouldn't matter, and it is really beautiful to see now, and how, you know, it's not just in entertainment, it's in everything, in modeling and acting. It's like, I feel like all these industries are so much more accepting now of, you know, this is the way of the world. Like no one needs to hold themselves to that, whatever perfection means, you know.
Impossible standard.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and so I think these industries have come to a really good place now, which is really refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had it when I was coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always asked my guests, what are your 3 non-negotiables for living a healthy and full life? For me, it's movement, community, and good nutrition. I've learned that what you fill your body with plays a massive role in how you feel physically and mentally. That's why I use True Protein. They're an Aussie brand doing things the right way. Clean, natural supplements with no artificial additives or fillers. Everything's made in-house in Sydney's northern beaches using the highest quality ingredients sourced from around the world. Whether it's supporting energy, improving focus, or reducing fatigue, their products genuinely help me show up better every single day. And just like Mind Your Head, they live by values I stand by. Be true, be you, and take care of your whole self.
You mentioned you've been dealt sort of, bad comments and that sort of thing, and you've been quite open with your social media around, a lot of it, and it's something that I've sort of dealt with too, is what you see on social media is the highlight reel.
Yeah.
And then it's probably like the 10% of what's actually going on in someone's life.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time people don't show sort of the real parts of their life. They just want you to see what they want you to see. How have you sort of decided what to show your audience and then what to keep private?
Yeah, that's also a really good question. I think when I was growing up, I was really vulnerable, like throwback to like the Twitter days and when Instagram first started and YouTube. And I was sort of part of that first wave of, influencers weren't a thing at the time. Like it was the YouTubers and stuff of the time. And it was like that first wave. And I feel so good that I was able to build my audience off of being vulnerable and open, because me being that young, I would talk about my body insecurities and things that I went with during that time and that age. And, I'd do like Ask Alli's on the internet and try to, like, my main motivation for my platforms was to just inspire women my age, whether they were younger or older than me. It was just to try and, if I was going to help 5 girls or 100,000 girls, I'd be happy. So I feel very proud that I built my audience off of the fact of being vulnerable. But it's interesting now, and in my last few years, I've had a lot more of like a mental health battle, and I do feel like the last maybe 2-3 years of my life, I was showcasing the 10% on my Instagram because I had a fatal injury, I fell into a depression, and I was still posting old photos, because I felt like this was something that I had to keep up.
Like almost like a role.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty much. And I did talk about my industry. I did talk about my injury, but I didn't go into depth about how much that affected me, having a whole year out of work, and then the year that came after that was when I fell into a depression, and I didn't know how to talk about that online, and I actually still haven't. Like, this is probably really the first time I'm talking about that publicly, but yeah, and now I'm in the place where I'm like, I feel good enough and strong enough to be like, damn, I have to get back to young Alli, who my passion was to help others, and if I can share what I've been through, I help people, and I know that I have.
Why do you think, we can talk about, if you're comfortable talking about the injury and how that got you into a deep, dark mental health space, why do you think it got to you as bad as it did?
Yeah, it was...
Because it was a pretty severe injury.
Yes, it was. So it was interesting. I was in a relationship with a guy that I found to be quite toxic right before the injury happened. And it sort of led me into this place after we broke up. I felt like I was spiraling a little bit. I was only 21. And I was out partying all the time. And when the injury happened, I was drinking. And I was actually on a date, funny enough. And, I was going on all these dates and just being like, I've got to go and figure this out now because I'm heartbroken and this guy was an asshole and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I went on a date, went to the Burleigh Pavilion, funny enough. And the guy that I was with, we went back to his apartment building, and I dove into the apartment building's pool. It was quite shallow, but it was dark, so I couldn't see the bottom. And I hit my head on the bottom and broke my neck. I broke 2 vertebrae, which was, it was like, this is a whole nother conversation, but it was just it was the scariest time of my life. And, when I did eventually get the x-rays and the scans, the radiologist was like, you were 2 millimeters away from being quadriplegic and or dead. Like, if I landed like a little bit to the left or to the right, it would have just pushed that break a little bit further into my spinal cord. But apparently I landed like pretty well center on my head. And I'm like, for someone who had like a few espresso martinis, I don't know how I managed that. But someone was looking out for me that night in the pool and
All those swimming lessons.
yeah, honestly.
You dove properly.
So true. I'm like, it's just muscle memory.
Muscle memory.
I dove properly and that saved my life. And yeah, that was a really hard year because I was in a neck brace for a long time, like six months in the hard brace. I had to sleep in it. I could only take it off to shower.
The big halo.
No, I didn't have the halo,
okay,
luckily
yep,
enough.
yep.
It was like a big,
sorry.
hard, sort of green one. It sort of Velcroed on and off.
Did you have no movement or feeling or anything like that? Or could you feel everything?
It was interesting because the moment I struck the bottom of the pool, I blacked out. I saw stars. It was bizarre. It was like all these little white lights like twinkling and a really, really, really high-pitched noise. But because I was on a date and like other people were there and they were diving in the pool as well, I came to the top and I was fine. I did not, like I knew that I'd hit my head, but I didn't think I had done anything bad. And I was, coming to the top of the pool and like trying to look cute still. And I'm like, I'm on a date, I'm fine. And trying to pretend like I didn't just like knock myself out.
Proper performer.
Yeah, in true form.
The show must go on.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Alli, I'm such an idiot. But I went to bed that night not knowing that anything had happened.
Really?
Yeah, it's the craziest story. So I could talk forever about it. But what happened that night, I went to sleep. And then when I went to wake up, like I could barely sit up. Like what it felt like was my neck was just really stiff. Like it just wouldn't move from left to right. I think it was like because it was broken, all my muscles would just like protect the neck. And I just couldn't move my neck like from left to right. And I said to my mum and my nana who were at home at the time, I was like, I think I've done something really bad to my neck. And they're like, no, you're just an exaggerator. Because I am. I'm an exaggerator and I have been my whole life. I'm a good like storyteller. And they're like, you're fine. You'll be fine. Little did they know that like I could have sneezed and paralyzed myself at the time.
It was that close.
Yeah, it was that bad. So basically 3 months of my life go on and I have no idea that my neck is broken. No idea.
What?
Yes. It happened in like September, October. And I didn't find out that my neck was broken until New Year's Eve because... And I am so lucky that something happened in my body and it was New Year's Eve and I was about to get, like I'd been doing Pilates, going for runs, literally standing on my head. Like, and I got drunk with my friend one night and stood on my head and I had a broken neck. And I think this is what triggered the sign for me to get the x-ray. So I'm kind of grateful that I did. So a few days later, which was New Year's Eve, I started getting pins and needles from my waist down. Like really severe pins and needles, like kind of numbness. And I was like, this is weird. This has got to be something to do with my neck. And it was New Year's Eve. I was getting ready to go to a New Year's Eve party and I went to Q-scan. I knew something was wrong because it took so long to get the results back. And then the radiologist came out and he was like, never in my 40 years have I seen anything like this happen. Like you cannot move. I'm calling the ambulance right now. Your neck is broken. Don't move your head, sit as like tall and still as you can. So then I just burst into tears. I'm like, what do you mean? I went for a run this morning. I was like, what do you mean? And I just burst out into tears and they sent the ambulance and put me straight in the neck brace and that was it. But he basically said if you sneezed, you would have paralyzed yourself.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
I don't know what was on my side for those 3 months.
Something was.
Yeah. But yeah.
How was the rest of that journey? I know recovering. I've obviously recovered from some serious injuries as well, and it's a very lonely time of your life, and it can feel like it's never going to end.
Yeah.
It's so hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep.
How was your journey going through that recovery process, and especially with something so severe like neck injuries and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it was a super interesting time because the moment I was in the neck brace, it didn't feel real because I didn't know it was broken for so long. So I kind of was looking at it with a very like nonchalant sort of attitude and I'm like, I'm fine because I didn't understand why I was in the neck brace because I'd been fine for that long. And they'd already seen, like I didn't have to get surgery because they'd seen that my neck had started to heal itself over those 3 months. And so when I was first in the brace, I was like, this is going to be fine. This is going to be easy. Like, I'm going to heal. It's all going to be good. Just a few months out of work. And then once, like, the 5-6 month mark came around, I'm like, damn, this is hard and this is really lonely. And, you know, I couldn't even do all the things that, as simple as going for a walk in the morning and getting a coffee, which is something that I value as part of my daily routine. And I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go for a walk. I had to be on my couch in my apartment at the Meriton for like 6 months straight. And like I wasn't allowed to cook. I like seriously wasn't allowed to move. Like and it's so hard to get, like I felt like my life was over. I really did. And I had some good friends and my family at the time, thank God. I don't know how I would have gotten through it without them, but I think going through all that for so long and sort of losing my sense of purpose and my happiness and my daily drive, I feel like it really led to a dark place mentally, and I didn't realize that was happening until towards the end of the injury. And once I was out of the brace, I really felt like I lost myself. Like I felt so confused. I'm like, I don't know what to do now. I've stopped work for so long. I don't know what I want to do with my life. I've got all these things that I've done that are amazing, but I don't know where to go now. And I feel like I lost my confidence and my drive, and it shows how, I guess that shows how daily habits can change that for you so much. But
even the little things that we take for granted sometimes,
absolutely.
like going for a walk.
Yeah. And that was all the things that I was stripped of, and that led me to a dark place. And pretty much the whole next year, like once I was out of the brace, it was a battle every day to work, to get out of bed. And I had, you know, my agents on my back, and no one really understood where I got to. And I just felt so much pressure from so many people when I didn't really know it was, I'm tearing up now. I didn't really know what was going on with myself. And I'm like, maybe I am depressed, you know? And so I worked through that journey, you know, with my doctors and went on medication and, you know, was doing all I can to fix that. But it took a long, long time to get out of it. And that year after that industry, I keep saying industry, not injury, but yeah, that year after, I didn't expect that would have happened, and it did. And, you know, I can't regret it because it was something that is human. And I think a lot of people have felt that with severe injuries and coming out of it. But I feel very grateful for the experience now, and I am on the other side now. So I feel very proud, but it took a lot.
Was there any pressure to hide how you were feeling because you were in the public eye so much?
Yeah, there was. And I didn't think that I would ever be the person to say that, because I always have been such an open book. And because I didn't understand what was happening to me, you know, why I couldn't get out of bed and why I couldn't reply to that email. And until, you know, I learnt more about it, and I broke down to my mum one night and I just said, I think I'm depressed. And
was that your rock bottom, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It felt like it. And for a lot of that year when I was depressed, I was going out a lot and I was partying a lot. And because that felt like an escape for me. And it really felt good to just go out with my friends on the weekends, and like I'd be drinking for like 3 days straight, and then like Monday I'd be sadder than ever because of the come down. And, you know, I knew deep down it wasn't helping me, you know, what I was doing, but those temporary highs and releases that I was feeling just out and about with people and having fun. And I did have fun, but I knew I was doing the wrong thing, and I was in denial. I was like, that I'm not, for so long I was like, no, I'm not depressed. I'm just sort of like in this phase. I'm out of my neck brace now. Like I can go out and socialize, because I think it was that extreme of not seeing anyone and not doing anything for almost a year to being like, I'm free. I need to go and do all this crazy shit.
All the things that I missed out on, or I got to catch up almost.
Yeah, I felt like I'd missed out for so long, and I wasn't actually prioritizing really sort of healing and getting myself better to get back into what I love doing again. And I let that drag out for about a year. But yeah, the meltdown with my mum, she'll remember it. I definitely felt like that was my version of a rock bottom.
Rock bottom.
Yeah.
Did you struggle asking for help?
Yeah.
Yeah, still do? Or a lot better at it now?
A lot better at it
Yeah.
now. I think
Yeah.
because I've beat my depression and I have spoken about it to so many people now that I don't find it as hard to talk about and or as hard to ask for help because I know that it's human. But yeah, it's so interesting when you're in it. You don't want to accept it because everybody thought I was this big, bubbly, crazy personality and my life was great and perfect, and it probably looked that way on Instagram. And that whole time I was in bed probably crying and having a meltdown. I'm posting photos of myself like out or old selfies, you know, and people would think that was me that day, and it was not. Like, so
if you could go back, would you be more inclined to show people the real?
yeah,
You would?
I absolutely would.
Yeah.
But at the time I didn't feel like I could because I didn't have that strength and I was too scared to be that person that was, I found it really hard to be vulnerable, and that was confusing for me as a human when I'm usually the opposite of that. But when I was in it, it was so dark. Like I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't want to go out with my friends. Like I just got, after the sort of partying phase, I then just got to a place where I was like, I just cancelled on everyone. And all my friends would always wonder, like, why does Alli always cancel on things? And why, you know, or I was just not going on dates with these guys that were probably like really nice, but I couldn't bring myself to do it.
It's interesting, like how different people are, like how much it changes you, the whole personality.
Yeah.
From going from one person straight to the other. And then, because I'm just speaking from my own experience and hearing your story as well, it's you struggle to understand why I am the person that I am now. Why can't I be that person that I was before?
Yeah.
And then you're trying your hardest to get back to that person you were before, and then the harder you try, almost the worse it gets.
I was going to say, the worse it gets.
The worse it gets, and then you get more frustrated that it's not working.
Yeah.
And then I fell into a point where this is just going to be me.
Yeah.
I was like resided to the fact that this is going to be me. How do I deal with it? And they got to a point where I was like, I don't know if I can keep dealing with this.
Yeah.
So that's how sort of bad it got for me. When you chatted to your mum about it, what was the next process? Like, did you, you know, you talked about, was there medication? Did you talk to a psychologist? Did you get more information about what actually depression is, and so you can actually put feelings and words to what you're going through? Yeah,
because I think that meltdown with mum, and she was just so amazing, like talking me through it, because I said, I feel like I'm depressed, and she obviously wanted to try and unpack that with me, obviously, before we went and spoke to someone about maybe trying medication or whatever. And she was so amazing, you know, asking me questions like, do you feel like you want to go and do all these things, but you can't? You know, you have all these goals and these huge dreams, but you feel like you can't do it, or you just are in this negative self-talk spiral. And like, so she just talked it all with me, and I just basically said yes to every question that she said while sobbing at the same time. And she was so good. She's like, well, let's go talk to, you know, your GP tomorrow, and we'll just talk about it. There's no pressure to get on medication or not. Like we can try anything that you want, but she was just like, I will help you through this, and so will he, and he's the expert. And we spoke about it for a while. I contemplated starting medication or not, because it wasn't something that I ever wanted to do or like believed in at the time. Like I was like, I'm fine.
That was me.
Yeah.
That was me too.
Was it? Yeah. You're like, I'm fine. I don't need to do this.
Just give me some breathing exercises or something.
Yeah. Like I can just meditate, right? Like surely there's like a solution to this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was on it for a while. I didn't necessarily really enjoy it. Like I felt quite a few of the negative effects in the beginning, but I don't think I was helping my cause, like still drinking at the same time. Like I was on them, and obviously they're not going to work if you're like drinking on weekends and whatever. And I don't feel like I gave them a really good chance to maybe do their job and work. So I was on them, and then I got off them after like 6 months, and I'm like, and I think I flicked a switch in my brain. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I know that I am worthy of so much more, and I do have all these dreams and goals, and if I continue just downward spiraling, I'm not going to get out. So
that was my next question. Was there a turning point? Because there comes a time where you stop being the victim or playing the victim, and just thinking like, what am I actually? Yeah. What am I complaining about? I get it. You know, I get what we've sort of gone through, but there always comes a point in time where you're thinking like, I'm self-destructing here. Yeah. And I've got an option not to do it.
Yeah. seriously.
And I've got to make the decision on my own.
Yeah.
People can give you so much advice and opinions and all the expertise, but honestly, it comes down to the individual if they want to change.
Yeah, it does. And I did hit that point where one, I was sick of people putting the pressure on me or asking me, with work, why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? Or why aren't you working? You said you were going to do this. You said you were going to post YouTube videos. You said you were going to start a podcast. And I got sick of that from so many people. And I knew deep down for so long that I was self-destructing. But I didn't want to accept it. And my whole family knew, mum, dad, my brothers, everyone in my life knew that I was just doing everything that wasn't serving where I wanted to be and where I wanted to get to. And once I decided I didn't want to be on the medication anymore, I think I just said that I'm sick of it. Like I'm sick of the pressure from everyone else when this was such a lonely battle for myself. And I was like, I know everything I need to do to change, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So I just got to the point where I was like, I'm going to do it because I'm 27 now. I don't have a choice in my life. Like I'm at the point I could go one way or I could go the other way, but there's only one option in my head and that's the way I'm going to go. And yeah, that was just the flip that switched in my brain. And now it's been a fair bit of time since then. And I just feel so proud about how far that I've come.
You should be proud of yourself.
Thanks.
How did depression change the way you see yourself in the world?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a really good question. I think now is that you just can't, and I know everybody always says this, but you can never assume what's going on in somebody's life because probably even my friends and so, like not my closest friends, but other friends and people in my life would have thought all that time that I was fine because of what I was posting on Instagram, or every time that I would be out socializing and seeing people, I was that happy, bubbly self, masked with, I guess, alcohol and just having fun and just not thinking about my problems on my life. So I just, the biggest thing for me that I've taken away from it is that you just can never judge anyone or ever assume that people are okay because most of the time they're not. Most of the time everyone's just being human and everyone's got their own battles going on and no one, people do talk about it a lot more now, but, I thought I could have been one to talk about it, but I couldn't at the time. So yeah, it's just taught me to be a lot more patient, I guess, with people and not push anything or anyone because everyone's got their own battles. And if you have a conversation with someone that's not necessarily that nice, or they might just be having a really shitty day.
Yeah, and that's probably the biggest lesson that I've learned too is during that process is a lot of the time especially if someone's comments something or they lash out or something like that, I would always respond in a way that it was always defensive.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's almost a reflection of how their day's going or even how their week's going or what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
And to lead a little bit more empathy. Because since I started the podcast, the amount of friends, close friends, family, people that I used to play footy with that have reached out and they've said, I was going through something similar. I still am going through something similar. And I'm thinking, man, like, I used to go out drinking with you all the time and we used to have the best time ever.
Yeah.
And
but you just don't talk about that stuff at the table though.
No.
Like when you're out drinking with all your friends, you're not talking about what everyone's actually going through. You're just out having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that to forget about what's going on in their life. And I understand we obviously did it, the numbing of the feelings, the noise in your head. We just want to go out there and just please let me have a good time because I don't want to think about what's really going on at home.
Yeah.
And I do get that because we all got to have a release of our own. But I think having that ability to have those conversations when you're not drinking.
Yeah.
To have those abilities to sit down with your mates. And
it's huge.
Yeah, to sit down with your close friends. That's why I think, having a core network of friends, it doesn't need you don't need to have 30 mates.
No.
Like, if you can have 3 good friends that you can go grab a coffee with, go for a walk and just be like, all right, mate, I'm actually really struggling here.
Yeah.
That goes so much further than getting on the piss with the boys and then are you good? Yeah, I'm all good. And he's just
I'm good. Yeah, how's your week? Yeah, good. Yeah. It's I've had the same thing. Like I used to have, I feel like prior to my my neck break, I felt like I had so many more friends than I do now. Like I probably was that person with the 30 friends, and I would go out every weekend and there'd be a table of like 12 girls, and then everybody else would join, and that was fun. And I don't want to change that now, but being on the other side of that, and a year passed with the neck, a year passed with the depression, and then now I'm like, I could probably count my friends on one hand.
It's beautiful though.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that I value that so much more, and the friendships I have with the people that I do now is so much, I just value it so much more, and it means so much more.
For sure. I think even with your injury, and you found that you couldn't do the simple things in life, and that you're pretty much bedridden, like you couldn't do anything.
I was.
Has it changed your outlook on life in terms of what you value, maybe your values and what you want out of life, and things to not take for granted?
Yeah.
It does? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, after all of that and the last few years of my life, it's kind of a cliche thing to say, like I do feel like I have a new lease on life, and that, that night in the pool could have been really, really bad. I could have been done from the neck down or not here anymore. And it just gave me this perspective of like, damn, like I am here for a reason, and I do have a purpose, and I need to figure out what that is. And I have to get the best out of my life now. I just don't have a choice, because I don't want to be older and live with any regret, because there are regrets that I've had over the past few years of my life, and I can't look at it. I've learned to not look at it like that anymore. But I think it's more important for me now, being my age, to not be an adult and look back and think, what if? What could I, like, why didn't I do it? It's too late. We have one life. So I think that's what's helped me on the back end, and given me that sort of new perspective on where I am now and where I'm going. So
where you are now, where do you sit with your mental health and your depression? Is it gone? Is it comes and goes?
Yeah, it's one of those things where some days I'm like, hell yeah, I've beaten this. I feel amazing.
Yeah, the dog's back.
Yeah, seriously, I'm like, this has to be my new like alter ego. But yeah, some days I feel really, really good, and I can go weeks at a time where I feel incredible and things are going really well with work, and then 1 week I could be so down again, and I'm like, do I feel the same as when I was depressed? But it's like it definitely doesn't feel as severe this time when those times roll around, because I feel I'm much stronger than back then. But I think it's human to like not be happy all the time, and you can be sad and you can cry and you can feel anxious. I get so anxious, like sometimes in social settings, or when I'm going to do any work things, or be on camera or sing or host. Like I would have to do like fucking box. Can I swear? Like
you can do whatever you want.
You like basically swear on this podcast? Like in the bathroom doing like fucking box breathing, like before I have to walk out on stage. Like I think that's human though. Like sometimes
Absolutely.
I really do still have to calm myself down and still battle that anxiety and sadness, but the good outweighs the negative in my life now. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I love that, because you have to, what I've realized, you got to embrace all sides of you.
Yeah.
For so long, because I still to this day battle social anxiety, where I panic so much about going in social situations. I overthink everything. I overanalyze every conversation I have. Even when I've finished having it, I go,
oh, it keeps me up at night.
Why did you say that for?
Yeah.
Why on earth did you were trying to be funny, you weren't funny.
I do exactly the same thing.
I think a lot of the time people ask, like, have you always, and this is weird for me saying it, but people say, are you always good at having conversations? I go, no, this is actually bred from my social anxiety.
Yeah.
So what I realized is that a little remedy for my social anxiety was that if I go to social situations, I would panic so much that I have to go talk to someone. And as soon as I start talking to someone, I would get out of my own head and I'll start asking questions about whatever it is that they're into. I'll just ramble questions in.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, oh, that's cool. And I start learning what they're up to, or what their life's been like, or what they do for work, or something like what their interests are. And then 5 minutes go by, and then I've lost that anxiety level's gone down. I feel more comfortable. And that's sort of like my coping mechanism for my social anxiety was starting a conversation with someone. So it's kind of like helped me with the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. And
yeah, you go. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I think it's amazing, like, because I've listened to a few of your podcasts, and like they're so inspiring, and you are so good at talking about your battles and what you've been through. And I know how hard that is, and it's talking with other people about that is just like incredible. The fact that you can talk about it so like openly and freely now, and like have this conversation with me is huge. And like, and it's the same in social settings. It's like, if you don't go and you don't keep doing it and pushing yourself out there and saying, okay, that person's over there in the corner alone, I'm over here in this corner alone, should I go talk to her? Like, should I go talk to him?
Yeah, for sure.
And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And it's like you just have to go through those scary things and those hard things to feel better. Yeah.
For sure. And I think some people ask me, do you still feel it?
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not as potent, or it's not as intense as it used to be. I used to let it control a lot. Like, I used to not go to social situations,
Same.
parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I would panic too much about it, and then I'd feel guilty for not going. So it was just
then
like
it kind of makes it worse.
So
like,
it makes it worse.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why don't you just go? Like, all your mates are there. Like, and
Yeah.
if they're not your mates, you just meet new people. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
I was always like in your own head thinking, what would happen is never what actually does happen. The reality is never actually what's in your head, but
So
you just
true.
believe that it is.
So true.
And that's been one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is being open, and
yeah.
been so easy actually, like sharing my story. The more I do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And it's not as
exactly.
scary, and that's what I try to get to people, because they've always like, I've always let this hold me back. And I'm like, well, there's going to come a time, like how many times in your life are you going to hold back by this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I never wanted this to limit, like, all the opportunities I've had in my life, especially the last like 2 years of doing this, the people that I've met, the rooms that I've been in, the incredible, guests that I've had on, and the conversations I've had, I would never have had them.
No, if you didn't start it.
If I didn't start it.
Yeah.
If I didn't like just jump in and go, okay, might be awkward.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to say something I shouldn't say, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to be extremely nervous about it, but eventually it's going to lead to good things.
Yeah, you're so right. It's like if you think you're going to be bad at the start, if you don't do it, you're never going to get better. It's like,
For sure.
I'm the same with so many things in my life. I'm like, I don't want to start that. I don't think I can do that. But I'm like, well, if I don't give it a shot, I'll never know. Like the first few episodes of your podcast could be shit. Your first acting audition, you feel like I've done some acting auditions recently, and I've had acting experience in my life. Like, I've done films and I've done classes, but I still feel like a fraud.
Do you?
Yeah. Like, if I'm doing an acting audition, I'm like, I just don't feel like I know this craft. And
What, a bit of imposter syndrome almost?
yeah. And I'm like, so I've just got to like keep pushing, and like, because the more I do it, the better I feel. But I'm like, if I don't do it, I'm never going to get better.
I think that's also a good point, because if you're never going to do it, you feel worse
You do.
than trying it and then maybe not,
Yeah.
planning out like you used, you wanted it to go.
Yeah.
But you'd feel terrible, like living with that regret. I think.
Yeah, because there's been films that I had auditions for that I said no to, like during that year that I was sort of in a dark place. I was like, I can't get on camera and act right now, and then I'd see the movie come out in the cinemas, and I'd watch it and be like, wait, why do I feel like I've seen this before? And then I'm like, no, I just know the script because I auditioned for that role.
That's my role.
Yeah, so it's and then you do have that little bit of regret, and you're like, damn, like I really should have had a crack at that. And I think that the best thing I can do now is just not sit with any of those regrets and just take every opportunity that comes my way, and do what I can to create my own opportunities also. But yeah, it's just if you don't try, you never know, I guess.
This episode is brought to you by TLC Recovery Centre on the Sunshine Coast. Whether you're chasing peak performance or just need to reset, TLC has everything you need. Infrared saunas to help detox your body, reduce inflammation, improve circulation and calm the nervous system, leaving you feeling lighter, clearer and more recovered after every session. They've got cold plunges to reduce inflammation, boost mood and mental clarity, and build resilience. They've got compression boots to speed up muscle repair, and massage therapists who know exactly what your body needs. But what really sets TLC apart? The people. The owners are the kind of good humans you want in your corner. Down to earth, genuinely care, and deeply invested in the local community. Head to TLC Sunshine Coast, use the code TLC15MYH to receive 15% off and experience it for yourself.
Are you a fan of Matthew McConaughey? Have you read his book Green Lights?
I haven't read his book,
Okay.
but I've heard so much about it.
A little bit embarrassing. That's the first. I read it when I was 30.
Okay.
First book I ever read at 30.
How old are you now?
34.
Okay.
And that changed my perspective on failure and how you
Okay.
look at setbacks. And it's incredible, like his own journey that he's been on, and like how he sort of just puts himself in the right position, but also lets timing take care of itself. Like he
I like that.
doesn't push things. If they don't work out, he doesn't dwell on them and goes, well, that's all right. That's just another opportunity for me to do something else. Like the way he sort of just
I
almost
really like
floats
that.
through
Yeah.
like time and opportunities. Like he doesn't get attached to like certain things. If it's a no, he's like, that's all right. That movie wasn't meant for me. Like he'll just go
Yeah.
somewhere else. And like, it's easy saying that now that it's all like worked out for him. Like it's
Yeah.
all, but it's an incredible book. And I like, he really emphasizes the importance of timing and not dwelling on like, you know, he talks about green lights and orange lights and red lights, and he's just like, don't worry, like a red light might turn to a green light. So if you get a no, it might lead
That's
you to
really
a yes.
cool.
So it's
Yeah.
incredible book. I can't read, so I just do audiobooks.
Yeah.
I can read, but I just
Yeah. I'd rather listen.
Yeah, I'd rather listen to
Yeah.
his, and you can do his voice too, which is like the
Oh,
sexiest
see, that's
voice.
cool. Yeah. I'm like, oh, damn, I'm going to listen to it. But yeah, no, I really want to read that book. Like so many people have told me about it. And yeah, it's like that thing. It's like people can say it's easy for him to say because
It's all worked out.
Yeah, it's all worked out for him and he's got all these green lights. But he wouldn't be where he was if he didn't go through all that. So he would have had a million red lights. But like it just looks great.
It looks great, exactly.
But it's like he wouldn't be Matthew McConaughey if he didn't go, he wouldn't be able to write that book.
Yeah, for sure.
If he wasn't, you know.
We did talk a little bit about relationships at the start.
Yeah.
I had a few questions already here, but
Yeah, okay.
what do you think is your biggest lesson in love that you've learnt so far?
Ooh, loaded question. My biggest lesson in love, I think like I said before, I do feel like when I was younger, I was one to sort of go from relationship to relationship. And that's because I am such an over-the-top caring person, and I would always put my partner first and before me. Which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but it's a bad thing if you do it all the time. And I think when I am going through my own stuff and my own struggles and I'm not focusing on that, I constantly focused on my different partners' happiness. I feel like that might have been what led to like majority of the breakups that I ended up having. You know, I had partners that have been in the industry, like musicians that dealt with alcohol or drug addiction or whatever, and I was always that person that was just like, I really want to help you because I love you so much. You know, I had a partner from like 18 for a few years, and he was in the public eye, and I just did everything that I could to help him and to try and not fix him, but maybe heal him. And I really think I lost myself along the way, and I didn't see that until I was out of it and until it was over. And you know, he obviously had his own demons that he was battling, and so it was never going to work, you know, until I guess he sorted his stuff out, and I loved myself first. And I think, yeah, coming out the back of the relationships that I've been in, I think the biggest lesson for me is just focus on you, Alli. And like, if you love yourself wholeheartedly, you will have the most calm, incredible, easy relationship, and I don't have to worry about what they're doing, and they don't have to worry about what I'm doing, because it's calm, you know. And I'm at that place now where I'm like, okay, I do feel like I am open to a relationship like that because I feel really good about where I'm at.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you feel like
I don't know if that's like a specific lesson, but it's
No, definitely. Like you've highlighted boundaries in terms of like
I think
what your
that's what it
standards
is.
are.
Yeah.
and what you're not going to accept again. And like in terms of people pleasing, do you feel like that's a little bit reined in, especially in relationships? Like I know that we spoke about, being selfish is important for who you are.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're constantly mindful of is people pleasing, especially in relationships when you love someone and you care about someone so much? It's so easy to fall into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's been a huge thing for me. I think that's where I'm at now. I've really reined in my boundaries. I used to go on dates, and even if I didn't really I might have liked the guy, but if I didn't feel like there was going to be anything, moving forward, I would still feel really horrible if I didn't reply to their text, or I always wanted them to feel good. I'm like, it's not because of you that I don't want to go on another date with you, but I always found it really hard to be really honest with that person and just say hey, because I never wanted to upset anybody. And it might not be just people pleasing. I just never want anyone to feel upset, which is so interesting because I've been so upset the last few years, but I didn't want anybody else to feel upset. I'm the person that will cry watching someone else cry. And growing up, I've been better at that. And I think that's just where I'm at now. It's definitely there's a lot more, boundaries in place. And I guess I know my worth and my boundaries now. And that's just, I'm not going to let anything else happen without those in place moving forward.
Do you feel enough?
Yeah, I do now. I do now. And I like that question because growing up, my dad, the biggest thing and the thing that he always says to me, and he has my whole life, is that you're enough. And, going through all my hard times in LA and even back here on the coast, it's just something that he always, will just text me or just call me or just write me little notes on my mirrors when I was young. And it was just always the saying, you are enough. And that's the saying that I always say in my head when I don't feel enough. And that's, thanks to Dad. So, but yeah, I think I'm at the age now I do feel enough, but God, it's taken me a long time to get here, Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
How do you define success now?
Ooh.
Professionally, personally?
Yeah. You got so many good questions. It's so good. How do I define success? I think I always used to think, I guess, if I was successful or more successful, I'd be happier. And it's kind of not the case, I guess, with me or with anybody. I guess I've had discussions with, like we talked about, everything looks so amazing and glamorous online, and I don't know everybody's got, I guess, got a different version and perception of what success is. It's like this thing, I don't want to be successful to be happy. I want to be happy first. And if my life and my work creates that success and comfort for me in the future, then that's what I would want. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Your priorities are you.
Yeah.
Rather than, a lot of people will say success was something to do with their work or, their job. And I hear a lot of, conversations, you should get that guy and he's really successful. And I go, well, what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
Because for me,
I think everyone's got a different perception of it.
And there's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
But for me, being a successful person, I put that down to, are you a good person?
Yeah.
Rather than, to be honest with you,
I like that.
I don't really care what job you do.
No.
And I don't really care how much money you get paid.
Absolutely.
I don't care what suburb you live or what house you live in or what car you drive. That doesn't determine success for me at all. And I'm not saying that's wrong, or I'm not saying that's right or wrong. That's just my personal opinion. I'd rather get to know you as a person and figure out if you're a good person.
Yeah. I completely agree with you.
And what you do, maybe not what you do in front of everyone on the internet, but who you are behind all that. That's what really counts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not what your job is. It's not how much money you make. It's not who you are on the internet. It's, I guess, you've just nailed it. It's just if you're a good person with good morals and you can be there for yourself as long as you're there for everybody else too. That's success. Yeah.
Were there times that you sort of looked in the mirror and didn't like the version of yourself?
Plenty
really?
Of times. There was, I think during that sort of depression period, there was a lot of times I just avoided mirrors. I just didn't look at them. And I don't know if that's because I was sad to see myself in the state that I was in, or I didn't want to confront who I was at that time, because I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. And yeah, I genuinely, like, I would just avoid mirrors. And for me, that was bizarre, because like growing up, I'm always like on camera, in the mirror, getting my makeup done.
Fit check.
Yeah, fit check, doing all that shit. Like, that would be me, and that was my life. But to not feel that for a while was was confronting.
It would be.
Yeah.
What do you see when you look in the mirror now?
I just see someone who's happy and strong. I think strong is probably, and enough. Like, that's a good word too. Like, I just think that everything that I've been through recently has led me here today, and now I can look in the mirror in the morning and smile and just be like, you're going to have a great day, you know?
I love that. Do you do a lot of self-talk?
Only recently.
Only recently?
Yeah.
How do you find it?
It's good. It's
good?
It's confronting at
Yeah.
when you first start, because I'm like, I look crazy. I'm just talking to myself in the mirror. But I find that like affirmations and all that sort of stuff does help. Like, whether you're saying them out loud or whether you're just listening to them, or I do find that you just need to remind yourself sometimes that you're enough.
Yeah,
you know?
I've got another book recommendation actually.
I need to make a list.
I'll send it to you. I'll
Yeah,
send it to you
please
after this. It
Yeah.
actually really helped me. It's called Internal Family Systems, and it's
Okay.
written by a guy that talks about all the little bits of family inside you. So you've got a little girl, little Alli, that's either insecure or
Yeah.
you know, jealous or angry or, you know, wants attention. And what it talks about is, instead of ignoring that person or that little version of Alli, wherever it pops up, embrace her. So don't try to shoo her away. Don't pretend like she doesn't exist. Actually have conversations with her out loud.
Yeah.
And I was reading it and I was like, what? Like, and it's when you actually get really intuitive and understand in situations that trigger you or upset you or whatever emotion comes up, just sit with it a little bit and just try to figure out what version of you is coming up and why they're coming up.
Yeah.
Instead of like ignoring it
interesting.
or shooing it away, and try and have conversations with that person. And I'm thinking, I was reading this and I was like,
I'm going to talk to little Elliot.
Little Elliot. So like when I feel rejected,
Yeah.
you know, when I feel rejected, and you think back to the time that, when was like the first time you felt rejected, whether it's, you know, something to do with your parents or your friends or breakups or anything like that. Try to like find that time, pinpoint that 15-year-old Elliot was first rejected, and chat to him and heal him and understand that it's okay, I hear you, I understand you, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Rather than sort of get angry about it, you know, and respond like that. And it's really like changed my perspective on situations in life that
I can imagine. That sounds so interesting.
It is. It's really interesting. And you just, before you know it, when you have these conversations, and it can be really weird to begin with, like talking to yourself and understanding like, well, okay, why am I feeling like this?
Like, if someone was watching me, do I just look like crazy right now? Like,
try do it in the car or
like in your room or
in your
the car.
room. Yeah. But yeah, it's really helped me understand situations in life and how to handle certain things that may not go your way.
Yeah.
It's really a good book.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit before. You've started your own podcast.
Yeah.
How's it all been? I know you've only recorded 5 episodes.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's been good. And the podcast, I guess what we spoke about before, it's one of those things that I was so scared to start, and I had actually wanted to start it, for at least over a year ago. I had every intention to start it. I actually had all the equipment a year ago.
A year ago?
Yep, I bought everything. I was like dead set. When I bought all the mics, everything, I'm like, okay, yep, good, I'm going to start it. And then that was sort of when I was still in this dark space. And I'm like, okay, well, if I go and get the stuff, like I'll make myself do it, you know, and I'm telling everyone I'm going to do it. And, you know, and then I sort of put that expectation on myself that, you know, everyone was waiting for it. Like, you keep talking about it, why don't you do it? And that was still when I was in a pretty dark place. Yeah. And, it just took me so long to get here, and it's only within the last 2 or 3 months that I've just been like, you know what, book the studio, sit down and start talking. If you're going to suck, you're going to suck. It's okay. And I think I just hated myself for so long because I had so much experience on a microphone and on camera, and I interviewed all these people, and I would just think everyone in my life was like, I don't understand why you can't just do it.
That's my next question.
Yeah.
Like, you've done it before.
Yeah.
If anything, you've done it
it's been like my main career. It's like, so I just don't know what happened, you know, like.
Did you feel like you lost your spark a little bit during that depression? Like you lost a
Yeah.
little bit of who you were?
Yeah. I think I lost a lot of it, to be honest, like more than what would have been ideal, because, and I've only really realized that now getting back into it. And, you know, I'd sit down in front of the camera by myself and I'd be like, why am I anxious about this? This is your whole career. That's my whole childhood, my whole upbringing is like, I've done nothing else. Like this is my life. And that's, you know, what Cody and Cody came on the pod and we recorded some amazing episodes, and he was like, what the hell were you so worried about? That was amazing, you know? And it just shows how deeply you can get into your head and how awful negative self-talk is, because I'd go to bed being like, oh, I can't start tomorrow. Like everybody has a podcast and what if no one listens to mine? And am I just another girl starting a podcast, you know? And like, why am I saying all that? Because I should be, if anything, so confident to start this, because it is my like expertise, I would say, but it just shows how some dark times can really like get you out of your like head and body. Like it's just so confusing.
It really corrupts your own thoughts of yourself.
Yeah, it does.
Because from the outside looking in, everyone's probably like, Alli, this is...
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I bit the bullet. I started it and I made the Instagram page for it, and I just put the stuff up. Like, I'm just going to basically give myself a deadline and just do it, because if I don't, then what's the point? So I've felt amazing like the last few weeks, really getting back to who I am, and every time I sit down it gets better and it gets easier.
Yes.
And I'm sure you would know that from your experience, because you've been doing it for a while now, and that's just incredible. And yeah, hopefully I get that spark back, and I feel like it's coming back. It's just,
I can tell.
yeah. Thanks, but yeah, it just takes time.
It does, for
Yeah.
sure. And that's another thing, if I was going to offer any advice is in terms of that, is it does take time, and it does get better, and it does get easier as long as you keep putting that effort towards it and not so coming to it. Because there was a moment where, you know, I think I was sort of in it for about 10 years and I was thinking like, this is terrible. Like I don't want to be here anymore. And I had a mate say to me, a good friend say to me, he's like, look, I promise you, if you keep at it, you keep working on it, you keep not letting it affect how you live your life and acknowledge it and work on it, absolutely. But keep being you, and keep, even though it's hard getting up every day and some days might feel hard to be you. Yeah. Keep at it, and one day it will go. And I remember 10 years later, I woke up, and I was waking up a lot going, I actually feel really good today. Like I feel me again.
Yeah, that's so
And then
good.
I was like, oh, maybe it's one day. And then it was like a week, and then it was months, and then it turned into
just like consistency. Hey?
And then all of a sudden, like the different in who I am from 10 years ago is, you know, worlds apart. And I end up messaging him, and I was just like, I just wanted to, you know, remember that thing you said to me 10 years ago? He's like, yeah, I'm out of it. And he's like, good work, good on you. Like that's what I told you. And I was
so
like,
cool that you can relay that to him 10 years later, and it's just like it shows something so small. Just like one or two comments can affect someone's like trajectory
in life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
in life, and you can thank him all this time later, which is really special. Actually,
I had to. Like I felt like I needed to, because a lot of the time, a lot of those things goes thankless. Yeah. You know, and I
kind of gets just like swept under. You know, life goes on.
Life goes on. Exactly. I feel like you lived so many chapters in your life, but I feel like the position you are now, this is really getting started for you. What excites you about life moving forward now? Yeah. When you think about the next sort of 2, 3, 5 years.
Yeah. Oh man, I guess having such a bizarre childhood, and I do feel like I've had so many different like eras, I guess, and chapters of my life, good ones and bad ones. But yeah, I guess now where I'm at, I feel more excited than ever, because I feel more me than ever. And I feel secure in myself and where I'm going. And I had a bunch of dreams from, I guess, 18, 19, 20, that are still kind of the same now. They change as I get older, but there's still these thoughts I have in my head, and I've never felt more comfortable and ready to sort of go for that. And just like we talked about before, just prioritize myself and put everything that I can into achieving that, and the next 5, I'm really looking forward to the next 5 years. And it really is like a new lease on life for me. And I'm just going to see where life takes me now. And I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Are there any passions that you've yet to fully explore?
Acting would be one of them. The podcast, I would say absolutely, but that is sort of a passion that I grew up with and that feels sort of second nature to me. At times I was anxious, of course, to start it, but now that I'm back into it, I want to explore that and get much more into, I guess, podcasting and TV. And I love hosting and done a fair bit of TV before, but I'd love to host more. So I think, acting and hosting for me is what I really want to get into moving forward.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Before we finish up, I've got some quick fire questions. So you can answer these as quickly or as long as you want.
Okay.
Paint me your perfect day, start to finish.
Perfect day, start to finish. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm like, this could be a long answer. We could do lots in a day. Number one, like we talked about with the neck thing, getting up and going for a walk on the beach and getting a coffee is one of my favorite things to do. I know it's better to make coffee at home because it's more budget friendly, but I just love the novelty of going and getting coffee by myself or with a friend. But I do love going by myself. I love starting my day alone. So I get up, make my bed. I don't like to touch my phone first thing getting out of bed because I always used to. So that's something I'm working on. Yeah, go for a walk or go for a run on the beach, maybe jump in the ocean. Then, now that I'm just starting to get back into work, I think with the podcast stuff, if I could do that every day, sit down with someone like you and just have an awesome conversation, that would make my day every day. I am a social butterfly, so hanging out with my friends or my family would be super ideal on that day as well. This is such a hard question. I think that would be pretty much be it. It's just getting up, doing something for me, doing something work related and feeling accomplished. I love that feeling at the end of the day when you've just
I've ticked the boxes.
Yeah, you've ticked the boxes. I just love ticking the boxes.
Yeah,
and
same.
Then
a sense of achievement.
Yeah. And then just finishing it with I'm obsessed with saunas and ice baths, and so I do all that, and then going out for dinner with my best friend or something, or my mum even, something like that to just end my day. Yeah, that'd be an ideal day.
Sounds like a pretty good day to me.
Yeah.
Who's your hero?
My hero. It sounds cliche, but my first thought in terms of heroes is my mum and my dad. And I couldn't pick one because they've both taught me so many different valuable lessons, and they've both been through so much in their life. And I feel like that's really rubbed off on who I am and who my two brothers are. So yeah, undeniably my hero would be mum and dad combined.
What's the proudest moment of your life?
Proudest moment of my life. It's funny because I sort of think that I would have to think of something in terms of career or something I'm super proud of, and maybe the old me would have said my radio show, or this is probably my nana. That's emergency override. Oh my God. Should I let it ring out? No, I'll fix it.
Oh, you can grab it if you want. Yeah. Oh, there it goes.
My mum. Speaking of my hero.
Do you want to pick it up?
Again.
Do you want to pick it up? She could be.
No, it's okay. Unless she rings again, but
yeah.
no. Oh, what was the question? Oh,
proudest moment.
Proudest moment. Yeah, I think my proudest moment now would be getting to where I am now, because I think going through all that hard times and that injury and the depression, when you feel like you can't get out of it, and I really did feel like there was no way out, and I didn't feel like I was capable or strong enough to get to the other side. And now that I'm here, that would be my proudest moment.
I love that. I've got a little surprise for you too.
Stop.
Yeah. So
I'm nervous.
I've got a closing tradition of the podcast where I don't ask the last question. I get family and friends. They send in questions for the guest.
What?
So I've got your dad has sent in a question for you.
Stop. That's so nice.
He said, "You ready?"
Yeah. I'm like, oh God, yeah.
He said, "Alli, you know I've had my own battles with mental health and been through treatment. From your perspective, how did you support me during that time? How do you think I'm doing now? What did you take away from that experience? And if someone else has a loved one going through something similar, what would you tell them?"
I did not expect that. I'm like, that's just going to make me cry. Thanks, Dad.
A lot of questions in there.
Yeah, Dad got so excited. It's so him coded to just ask a million questions. Damn, yeah. I mean, Dad has been like my main inspiration, and yeah, we went through a lot with Dad, and he's had a long battle with, he had a pretty traumatic childhood and battled depression and addiction, and I always felt like with Dad that because I am such an empathetic person, like Dad and I have a very special and strong relationship, and I take pride in the fact that, addiction's such a hard thing because it affects everybody around the person who's going through it, family and friends. And a lot of people are really quick to shut you out and hold anger. And I've just never been an angry person. And especially with Dad and knowing everything that he's been through, I feel like I was always that person that was ready to listen to him, even though I didn't really understand what he was going through. I definitely didn't understand. And when it first sort of started, I was like 16, 17, but he felt comfortable talking to me about what had happened to him as a child and what he was sort of dealing, like he was masking that with alcohol. And I just feel really proud that I was able to be there for him and be that listening ear and just give other people a perspective too, because it's like if I had went through what my dad had gone through, I'd probably absolutely be in the same position. And I think anybody would. And he is just so incredibly strong. And I am so proud of him for, I think one of his other questions was, how do you think I'm doing now? And I think he's doing better than I have seen him in a really, really long time. And he just seems so much happier and healthier, and he's focusing on himself and his fitness. And it's just like, Dad was always really good at, when he went through treatment, and it was something that you spoke about before in that book about your inner child, like channeling that inner child. And Dad has been really good at doing that recently and just getting back to like the roots of Brad and who he was as a child. So yeah, I'm incredibly proud of him. And yeah, we've been through roller coasters together, and he then saw me go through, what I went through, and he's just so strong, and I just am so lucky that he's my dad and he's still here, and I could not do my life without him. So I don't know if I answered all of his questions, but
You did.
I'm tearing up now.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So the surprises don't stop.
Stop. I didn't expect a question from my dad. That's so
okay.
cool that you got that.
You're getting one from your mum now.
Oh, no. She didn't tell me that this morning. I said to her this morning, I was like, I don't know what he's going to ask.
And I said keep it a secret.
Usually she spills all the secrets, so proud of her for keeping this one.
Hi, Alli. It's Mum. My question is, what advice would you give someone that is silently struggling?
She's so funny. It's like when she's on camera, she like puts on this voice, she's like, hi, Alli. Oh, that's so cute. I can't believe she sent a voice note. Advice I would give someone that's silently struggling. That's a good question coming from her, because she's obviously seen me silently struggling for 4 years. And the number one thing for me, and that I wish I did a lot more of, was just not be so hard on myself. Like that's just been my biggest struggle. And I know you've said that was the same for you. It's just the negative self-talk can get so dark sometimes. And then I have this like battle in my head. I'd say something like shit about myself, and then I'd be like, why would you say that, Alli? Like, you're actually pretty cool and pretty nice. And then I'd be like, it's like I have this like angel and demon, and I'm like in that constant battle. So I think to not be so hard on yourself, because that makes it so much harder to get out and to know that there is a way out. You know, it doesn't, if you do the right things and you do the work, and, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And even when I couldn't see it, like, you know, my mum would always tell me that, like, there is, like, you can do this, Alli. And, you know, and she would always send me quotes and things to watch and things to read. She's like, you're gonna get out of this, even though it didn't feel like it.
Yeah. There's always hope.
It's always hope. Yeah.
One more from Ray, who was a guest on the podcast. So
Yeah.
Ray sent something in.
Hey Alli, with the way social media has developed and manifested over the years, it often pushes people to share only the highlights of their lives. It can create a sense of pressure or even inadequacy for others watching. Have you personally experienced that tension and the feeling that you need to perform or only show the best parts of your life online, even when that may not be the case? And how do you manage that, especially when your platform is also a space for authenticity and mental health?
Ray, that's such a good question from Cousin Ray. Yeah. And you know what? It's funny because her being my cousin and her probably having seen me go through all this the last few years, you know, at all the family barbecues and all of that, she's probably seen and known that I have posted stuff that wasn't authentic to me at the time, you know, sharing the stories when I didn't necessarily look like that, or sharing the Instagram posts when I wasn't, you know, like I'd post Instagram posts like with inspiring quotes and stuff, because I still then was trying to help my audience, because that's what they have always enjoyed. And I'm like, I'd put it out to the world and I would read it myself and, you know, try and help myself. So yeah, it's an interesting question, and the way that, yeah, the pressures of social media and trying to keep up this life, and for me having the platform that I do, when there are a lot of people watching, you do feel the pressure, and I absolutely have over the years, and that's probably why I did find it hard to talk about the dark times, because I was like, I got to keep it up, like if I'm helping people doing this. But yeah, some of my audience would have absolutely no idea what I was going through at the time, and I've definitely made, you know, a pact to myself moving forward to not do that anymore, because people and the way of the world now, like everybody is so much more accepting and so much more loving, and so many more people are talking about their struggles. And, you know, I feel like more and more people are feeling less and less alone. So
couldn't agree more.
Got to keep it up.
For sure. Alli, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been so nice meeting you and getting to know you on a more personal level. I feel like we're quite similar.
Very, yeah.
And thank you so much for being so open and honest and sharing your incredible highs, but also your challenging lows as well. I know a lot of people get a lot out of this conversation, and you should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you. No, it was such an amazing chat. Like it's nice to sit down with you in this environment and just really just be so present. And we've just both spoken about so many things. It just, it feels really good. And thank you so much for having me on.
Appreciate
I've loved it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Mind Your Head. If you'd like to support the show, be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really supports the show and helps others discover us. Don't forget to join us on Instagram and TikTok at mindyourhead.podcast.